Welcome to the Dome Discussions Podcast. Your top source for all things New Orleans Saints. Powered by four voices who live and breathe black and gold. Touchdown! Every hit. Every play.
Welcome to the NFL.
Every moment. We've got it covered.
Let's go! Let's go! Go!
All right, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? Appreciate everybody tuning in to Dome Discussions Podcast, part of Be in the Know Network. I'm Kyle Besson with Canal Street Chronicles.
I'm Nick Jennings with Canal Street Chronicles.
I'm Caleb Yacarino with Canal Street Chronicles.
I'm Drew Collins with Who Dat Dish.
All right, and we have finally made it officially through preseason almost. We have one last game. It's going to be Saints versus Broncos, and we're going to get a lot into that game, later in the episode, but there's a lot of big news that we kind of have to talk over for the Saints. They made two trades recently. They traded for Jaguars center Luke Fortner. In that move, they traded LA defense tackle Colin Saunders, and they traded for wide receiver Devaughn Vele, I believe his name is, and they traded a 2026 fourth and a 2027 seventh round pick. Before we get into it, I kind of want to initiate with the Devaughn Vele Devaughn Vele, because I'm a fan of the move. I've kind of been going back and forth with people where I'm like, kind of look at it this way, and no, this isn't exactly how it works, but if the Saints used a fourth round selection on a wide receiver and he had 475 yards on 41 receptions and 3 touchdowns in 7 starts, would you be happy with that fourth round selection? Most people would be, and I agree. Now, obviously, you're getting him on one less year later. He's 27 now, so he'll be turning 28 late in December. So he's definitely an older player, but he fills exactly the need that the Saints have been needing. At one point, we were worried, the Saints just continuously signed 6 foot or less wide receivers. Their starting 3 is Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, and Brandon Cooks, and none of them really have a middle of the field presence. We kind of had to start hyping up a Rashid Shaheed crosser route in preseason as that for us because we were that worried, and it's really been up to Juwan Johnson. But Devaughn Vele is 6'5", 210 pounds, I believe, maybe a little bit larger than that. He's a large guy. He uses all of his frame on contested catches. And I'm really excited for him. Age is definitely a worry, but the Saints have him for 3 years on a rookie contract. To me, that's pretty unbeatable if he can keep up with that 500 plus yards a season and even develop into more.
Yeah, look, I'll start really briefly just with the Luke Fortner. I think it gives some some much needed depth to the offensive line, especially due to the injuries to Will Clapp. Trevor Penning going down as well. Nick Saldiveri suffering a season-ending injury. The Saints needed some offensive line depth, and they went out and got it. Colin Sanders was just falling down the depth chart as the offseason progressed. And look, Christian Boyd finally has started to flash, just what we wanted to see. So this opens the door for him as well. And Vernon Broughton as well, another rookie the Saints took in the 3rd round of this year's draft. Someone who's not really been talked about enough. That's another opportunity as well. But I am really high on Vele. He's 6'5". The Saints needed size. That's 3 inches taller than any other receiver on the Saints roster. Hauled in 41 of 56 targets for 475 yards and 3 touchdowns, 9 contested catches and 4 drops out of that. Broncos quarterbacks had a 74.5% completion rate when targeting Vele last season, and on 3rd down, 11 of his 12 receptions went for first downs. Additionally, 89 wideouts were targeted at least 50 times in 2024, and only 3 of them had a higher success rate than Vele. So look, I get it. The age has definitely been drawing some negative reactions on social media, especially due to the Saints giving up future assets. He's also missed some time this summer with a knee injury. But regardless, he was productive as a rookie. I get it, the age, still a rookie. Productive as a rookie, and the Saints needed size. What more can you ask for, especially with the Saints entering camp as one of the only 2 teams in the NFL without a wide receiver over 6'2". If he can put up similar numbers to what he did as a rookie in Denver, then it would give the Saints offense a huge boost. Take a lot of pressure off of Olave and Shaheed. And it's also worth noting, while it's still probably not going to happen due to Isaac Yiadom probably going to see a lot of time on the field, a lot of people were upset about the 4th round pick being dealt But the Saints are expected to receive a 4th-round comp pick in next year's draft, for losing Paulson Adebo to the Giants in free agency. So that's also something to watch out for.
Yeah, and just going off the comp pick, again, you mentioned the Adam thing. That's just if Adam plays, I think, around 30-something percentage of snaps uh, at corner, that comp pick gets taken away because they uh, equal each other out. But yeah, I really like this trading for Vele. Again, 6'5" contested catch threat. We've been talking about it so many times that we wanted one of these. I mean, we were talking about Bub Means to step up and become that contested catch threat. And when he got injured for the year, it was really grim. We were looking for Gabe Davis as a potential answer, but this is much better. He's Vele almost had 500 receiving yards last season. He was a safety blanket for Bo Nix, which is very important with two young quarterbacks potentially starting. Actually, in today's press conference after practice, Chuck said that I know we're two older guys and we're ready to roll when talking about Vele, which is a little bit of a cool thing because Vele is, I think, 27. He's going to turn 27 this season.
He is
A little.
27.
He is 27, so he's going to turn 28 this season. So it's a little bit interesting because he is so much older for a sophomore player. But still, he was productive his rookie year. Grow on that. The Saints were also facing competition for this trade. So this really wasn't, okay, the Saints were the only team offering stuff, and they just had to offer a 4th-round pick and a 7th-round pick to get it done. No, other teams were going after him, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were more competitive teams. So the prices may have been a little bit cheaper and less because that 4th-round pick is projected to be basically a 3rd-round pick early in the 4th. But again, I really like this trade. I think the one issue for me is that looking at it just as the trade, it's a good trade. But for the Saints, it's a little bit interesting because of the uncertainty at quarterback and a first-year head coach. So it's a little bit like, why make a winning move when the season you really don't know if you're going to be winning the season. But again, Vele's going to be here for at least 3 years on a rookie contract, cheap contract. He's going to be 30 with the team. He's going to be a trade asset in future. If you have to get off of his contract, he's going to be valuable for winning teams. So I think there's some risk with it, but I like the trade.
I absolutely love Vele as a player. I think he fits what the Saints need absolutely perfectly. And what you're saying, I think he's perfect for these young quarterbacks. He gives them someone while they're under duress. He can throw it up to Vele and feel fairly confident that he'll at least have a good shot at getting it. So I absolutely love that. I'm just a little bit hesitant to give away a 4th-round pick. I think that just in the spot that they're in, those picks are really valuable. You said it was almost a 3rd-round pick. I get there's a lot of competition, and if the Saints really like him, go get him, 100%. But that price is a little too steep for me. But I'm still excited to see what he's going to do in New Orleans.
And this isn't 100% again how it works. I know it's how it works. I'm going to pull it up real quick, but it's important to kind of go over the Saints' history with 4th-round picks as well, because the Saints haven't been the greatest at drafting 4th-round picks. Obviously, I think they got 2 studs this season with Danny Stutzman and Quincy Riley, but Nick Saldiveri, if you guys don't know, he was the 1st overall pick on day 3. The Saints traded up to get him, and we see how that has gone. Hasn't been able to stay healthy. It's only started 6 games for the Saints. Both Jake Hayner and Ian Book were 4th-round picks for the Saints. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was probably what you would consider a successful 4th-round pick in a way, but the only 4th-round pick for the Saints since 2016 to sign another contract with the Saints was David Onyemata. So clearly a lot of issues there when it comes to evaluating those guys in the later rounds. And the Saints, like just said, screw it. Let's go get a guy that we know what he can do, and we've seen him do it. So let's go ahead and bring it. And I think he's going to have a big role in this offense. I mean, again, he's the only one of that mold that can do what he does in that wide receiver room. He's the only guy that's 6'5". He's going to see he's going to see enough playing time. It just has to be. You don't make this trade for a guy to throw him as a depth piece when you have such a valuable 4th-round pick, and then that's such a mold that you need. I would bet we see him quite a bit more than maybe a lot of people expect, because there were some people that also clowned in the Saints. Obviously, I think it was Broncos fans saying they traded a 4th for a guy that was going to get cut. Let's be clear, he was not going to get cut. He's too good. Now, the Broncos do have a lot of potential in their wide receiver room, and they probably were looking to move on from him, but he was not a player that was going to be a cut candidate. He's too good to get cut, and you can clearly see that because the Saints had competition when trading for it and ended up having to trade a 4th-round pick. So other teams were also willing to go pretty pricey for him. And I don't want to completely skip over Fortner as well. I know Nick talked a little bit over. I want to bring over a little Fortner as well. He started for 3 seasons straight with the Jaguars before getting benched. He struggled quite a bit, and that led to him being benched and not playing starting last season. And he was a cut candidate for the Jaguars. He was a player that was likely going to get cut, but so was Colin Saunders for the Saints. So the trade kind of made sense on both sides. Hey, this is a guy that we were going to move on from after the season. Here's a trade, and the Saints trade for another guy. Now the Saints got a guy on a rookie contract. So maybe, get a little cheaper there, but it didn't save the Saints a lot because I believe it's 1.3 million saved for the Saints on that. But I think it's 2 trades for younger guys or rookie contract guys, I guess, with Vele that fills needs, and one's a depth piece, and one I think is going to see significant time this season.
Yeah, and going back to the Vele trade, I think if you look at it like, okay, the Saints basically just drafted a 4th round wide receiver, but without the extra year of a contract because he already played his rookie year. Because Vele, the way he played last year, he played better than a 4th round wide receiver that we may have seen in past years. Like, he is better than a 4th round wide receiver. It's just that he has 1 less year. So if you look at it like that, that's fine. But again, it is just giving up that draft capital when there's so much uncertainty. But yeah, I do think Vele has a massive role in this offense. It was interesting because the Broncos were kind of in a opposite scenario as the Saints. While the Saints have smaller, speedier wide receivers, the Broncos just had taller contested catch wide receivers. They had some other options, but mostly that. So it was kind of like they needed to get rid of one of their larger wide receivers. Saints needed that. So the trade made sense for both sides. But again, we could always argue about that 4th round pick. And although I would have loved this new regime to have it because it looks like their draft picks are a lot better, still, the trade makes sense.
I've been trying not to laugh because when you said the Broncos had a lot of taller contested catch wide receivers, it reminds me a lot of Sean Payton's days in New Orleans when we were going through those wide receiver days, and it was just Lil Jordan Humphreys and Marquez Callaways and injured Mike Thomases. It was all taller contested catch guys. So I just thought that was a funny little thing there. And actually, something else that I thought was funny is that we're actually recording this not too long after practice ended. So we were just able to hear from Kellen Moore, and he actually spoke on Devaughn Vele. And he said he's a really good player, really good person. He said he felt like it was a great opportunity for the team to get a younger guy, which I thought was pretty funny since he's 27 years old, going on 28. So, yeah.
And to add to the comedy of the trades, I guess, the Saints traded Colin Saunders to the Jaguars just hours after playing them. And obviously they traded for Vele just a couple days before facing the Broncos. So I don't know if Mickey Loomis is keeping it all in radiance, like just only talking to your opponents for the week or so, or if that's but it's pretty funny. That's how it happened. Makes the flight for all these guys a lot easier. Colin Saunders, I think he got traded playing Fortnite actually. So it's something, there's a lot of funny things going on with these trades, but I think these moves could work out for the Saints. I'm not going to say I don't value the 4th round pick as much as a lot of people do, but I just think when you can guarantee the talent that Vele could bring, and he's like a lot of things, he's got an extended route tree. He uses all of his 6'5" frame, and he's had drop problems in the past, but it's not too big of a concern. He actually had one really cool touchdown last season where it was like a tip drill, so it was Adam Trotman. He first dropped the ball. And then I don't remember the team. I think it was the Texans. 2 Texan players got their hands on the ball, tipped it up, and then Vele came down with it. And he's also a Tony Toe Tap type of guy, bro. He's been able to use his keep his toes in bounds. He just has a lot of that big body wide receiver feel. I'm not going to say like Michael Thomas. I'm not going to say like Marcus Colston, but in the sense of what they're able to do with their frames, Vele can do that as well.
And he's also fast. Like, his speed is also very much a part of his game, and he also has separation. Like, for what he is as a wide receiver, he really does bring a lot of flexibility to this offense. And I truly think that Kellen Moore will utilize him a lot. If you're listening to this and watch and play fantasy, I honestly would say to get him somehow on your roster because I think he could have a massive role. But I just think he's just the perfect 4th wide receiver, and honestly 3rd wide receiver on this offense.
Yeah, I mean, he had a 71% completion percentage as when quarterbacks were throwing to him. Only dropped 4 passes out of 56 targets. And there was something else. Yeah, his speed. Ran a 4.47 40-yard dash at the combine. So he's got all the tools. Just got to stay healthy.
Yeah, now switching focus to his former team, the Saints, like I said earlier, will be facing the Broncos this Saturday at 12 o'clock. And this is one that may not go the Saints' way, but there's a lot riding onto this game just for the simple fact that this is the QB decider. We're going to talk more about QBs in a little bit, but this is what's going to decide the QB competition. Kellen Moore just came out and said Spencer Rattler is going to start the game. He's expecting the first team to play a decent amount of snaps, but the Broncos have not been easy for opponents to play in preseason so far. They started preseason with a 30-9 win against the 49ers and then went on to beat the Cardinals 27-7. So they have had a pretty decent preseason, a pretty good preseason so far. While the Saints, they lost week 1 against the Chargers, putting up 13 points, right? I mean, I don't have the exact score. I believe they put up 13.
I think so.
And then tying with the Jaguars 17-17. While the Saints each scored a touchdown in each game, we'd like to see more from the quarterbacks, and the Broncos have certainly not allowed opposing quarterbacks to do that. So this is definitely going to be an interesting game for that matchup. But outside of quarterbacks, like I said, the first team's expecting to play. There's a lot to look forward to this team outside of that. What are some things that maybe you guys are looking for?
Yeah, me personally, it's how the Saints are going to be able to stop the run. The Broncos have gone for over 150 rushing yards in both preseason games to this point, and the Saints have severely struggled to stop the run. It might not look like it on paper. They haven't allowed that many yards, but when they've been ran against, the holes have been massive, and they have just been letting guys bounce off of them. It's not been what you want to see after they address the run defense so much this offseason, with the Vernon Broughton draft selection, the Danny Stutzman draft selection, with the Devaughn Godchaux trade. Those are all things that you expect. And look, Godchaux was obviously not playing, and he will help the run defense a ton. But you also had those rookies on the field, and you had guys like Christian Boyd on the field, who was drafted as an elite run stopper in college. Those are things that you expected to look not a lot better in the preseason. Obviously, you expect that to look a lot better in the regular season, but you expected to see a little bit of improvement in the preseason at least. And I'll also be looking to see who separates themselves at wide receiver. I know the Saints just added Vele. So you've got Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, Vele, and I think it's safe to say Mason Tipton at this point as well. But we know how high I've been on Kevin Austin Jr. this preseason. Dante Pettis started out slow this preseason, but has really started to flash. I'd like to see more out of those two, see the competition there, see if they can make the most out of their opportunity, because this is probably their best and their last shot to make the roster, at least for this season. I do expect both to be back on the practice squad. They spent time on the practice squad last season, and Kevin Austin Jr. was very reliable when the Saints needed him, so I expect him to return as well. But those are definitely the two things that I'll be watching for against the Broncos.
And we should also note that Donovan Peoples-Jones was released in combination with the Vele trade, so he's not in that competition either. Yes, definitely Vernon Broughton, once again, I'm looking at for this game. He's kind of been the one rookie that I haven't really seen enough from. He was always going to be a little bit of a project, but the first game I saw some good things, and then the second game there really wasn't much. Really would love to see some things in this game. The Saints are going to they should be going against the Broncos starters for at least a little bit, so that's going to be very interesting to watch. I'm mainly looking at the offensive line and the running backs here. We didn't get to rant about it last episode after the game, but Cesar Ruiz has not been good in preseason. It's definitely a massive worry going into the season. He should improve with Eric McCoy coming back, because that's usually how it works. But if either Eric McCoy is injured a little bit or Cesar Ruiz somehow doesn't improve, it's almost worst case scenario at right guard, which is scary. I want Cesar Ruiz to play a good amount of this game, because he needs to get consistency back by himself. Simpkins at center has been very good, and he should be playing guard in this game because that is his primary position. But Ruiz really doesn't have the excuse to have this fall off with two good offensive linemen next to him. So that's definitely something I'm watching. And the Broncos defensive line is good. So it's going to be a test for him. And in the running game, Diana Rossini actually released earlier today that the Saints are looking for a running back in the trade market, which we all have our opinions on. I don't agree with it. I think that I like Alvin Kamara and Kendry Miller. I like Devin Neal as a fourth option because you drafted him. I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire as that third option as more of a blocking veteran running back. I always like trying to look at improvements. I mean, the Saints were looking to sign Nick Chubb earlier this offseason when he was available before he signed, I think, with the Texans. So they haven't been shy away from improving that area, but I just think it's one of those things you wait for in the season. Saying that, Devin Neal needs to be healthy for this game because weirdly, I disagree. It's looking like a make or break game for him, which is wild to me. And I really think he needs to prove himself this game.
Yeah, and real quick. Oh,
yeah, you go.
Real quick, I just wanted to touch on what you were saying about Cesar Ruiz. And when you mentioned that a lot of the Broncos starters will be playing, Kellen Moore just noted probably like 20 minutes ago, that most of the starters will be playing this week. He said the decision to play Rattler does not indicate that anything will happen in week 1. But the fact that most of these starters are playing this week gives us the chance to see if Ruiz really has taken a step back from his big leap last year, because this could be the first time we see Eric McCoy this preseason as well. The Saints have been managing McCoy's workload, so we haven't really seen McCoy much this. We haven't seen him at all this preseason, in fact. But if Ruiz is struggling next to McCoy, then we might have a problem there. There might be something to look at. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the offense clicks with all the starters out there.
I don't want to cut you off, Drew. I only want to cut you off just because I don't know why I even thought to look this up. Did you guys know Eric McCoy and Vele are the same age? It was just something I wanted to look up. Eric McCoy is 27. I was like, that seems about right. Vele is also 27. Just randomly wanted to bring that up. Go ahead, Drew.
Okay, yeah, the thing I'm looking for is also the offensive line. But I just want to note my thoughts on the running back quick. I am not a fan of us trading for a running back right now. I wouldn't get it. If we're in the middle of the season and Kendry gets injured or something like that, then yeah, 100% it's smart to trade for one. But right now, I don't think we should. I love Devin Neal. I have not been hiding that at all. I've seen a ton of Devin Neal stuff. I think he will be a great back. Kendry has shown a ton. Clyde has shown a lot. And Kamara's Kamara. I think those four are strong, and I just don't see any need for adding with it right now. Even on the practice squad, you'd have Marcus Yarns. You'd have maybe Velus Jones Jr. if he makes a roster, depending on what happens with him. But I think that group is strong. And especially if you trade another future asset for it, I just don't see the point right now. But now back to the offensive line. I'm especially looking for it in the pass protection. The Broncos led the league with 63 sacks last season. And as you said, a lot of their starters are going to be playing. So the Saints' offensive line is going to be tested, especially for Spencer Rattler when he's going to be in the first team snaps. It's paramount that they protect him so we can actually see what we have in Rattler and not him just running around trying to avoid sacks all day. Same thing for Shuck. I mean, they're both not amazing under pressure. So you want to see them at least have a little bit of time to operate so we can get a real sense of who should be the starter and who's not quite living up to it. It's just huge that the offensive line doesn't get torched immediately.
And I want to mention, because we've talked about offensive line, I'm not sure if I heard anyone say this yet. Kellen Moore also said Fuaga is dealing with a bit of a knee injury. Nothing to worry about, but with it being preseason, maybe it's not something you want to test out right away. So Fuaga's also may not play in this game. Again, giving you, I don't know who you throw at right tackle because the Saints have problems with tackle position as well. So you throw in somebody at right tackle that's not used to being there. And then now they're also protecting Spencer Rattler versus, like what you said, one of the best pass rushes defenses from last year. It almost feels like unfair because we've seen it with each of the starting quarterbacks that has started with the first team. They have been under immense amount of pressure, a lot due to Cesar Ruiz. And now with Fuaga out, may happen again. I'm not sure how well they'll hold up there.
Yeah, it's also one of those things that like because we're looking at both kind of the running game and the offensive line. It's like the running game has been bad in preseason, mostly because of the offensive line. And it's one of those things that if the team is looking for upgrades because of that, and again, they do so much research, so I doubt it's that easy of like why they're looking for upgrades. But if that is a factor, I just disagree with it because I truly think this offensive line has put the running game in such a horrible situation, and I truly do not believe it's their fault. Again, I believe this four-man group of what we've been talking about is not the perfect, but it's a very good running back room on a team where there's needs in many places, upgrades and depth issues. And I think running back, we could say, is one of those places where I don't think they need any more additions. So I'm just watching. I hope Devin Neal has a good game because I'm worried about that.
I don't know if he'll play. Do we
Yeah, I
hear
was
any
gonna say,
more
do
on
we have
that? Or I don't
confirmation
think he'll
Devin Neal
play.
plays?
I think he came back in practice last
I
game
think
or last practice.
okay.
I think he's back in practice, so hopefully he can play. If he doesn't play, then I am unbelievably scared because that's like I don't know what happens there. Maybe he is injured and he gets put on IR or something, which I doubt. But best ability is availability, and I think that's
Just
playing a part
wh-
here.
which in college he never missed a single game in 4 years played. Never an injury, nothing like that. So I mean, just unfortunate right now. But just a precursor. If something happens, like Devin Neal gets cut, I'm gonna be flabbergasted. I will go on a rant if that happens.
Emergency
I don't think it
podcast.
will. Emergency podcast, me on a 5-minute rant, but no, it'll be fine. I mean, I think the room's strong. I just don't think they should add to it.
Yeah, Kellen Moore said it was great to see Devin Neal back out there. He said he's unsure if he will play on Saturday, but he did say it's trending that way. So that's something to watch out for because I'd love to see Devin Neal in action. We've seen how good this rookie draft class is shaping up to be. I'd like to see Maliki Mataval get some action as well. We know the tight ends are pretty thin right now, especially due to Dallin Holker's retirement. Jack Stoll dropping passes. That's not what you want to see. You'd expect him to step up more. And also Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill not yet being activated off the PUP list. And also Michael Jacobson, another guy you expected to kind of break out this preseason. He just hasn't yet shined. So this could be a good opportunity for him as well. So
Yeah, and for that, I think the best tight end we've seen from the Saints so far has been Trayton Welch, which might be a little surprising for some. He's the one that had that great catch over a defender from Tyler Shuck, where the ball was on the money. But that's a really I trust you ball there, and
Yeah.
Trayton Welch came down with it. Got a little banged up afterwards, but he's been a guy that kind of proven himself the most from the tight end room.
recovery.
He had a fumble recovery.
Yeah, on special teams and
Yeah,
first muff punt against the Chargers.
yeah, so I mean, he's a guy that stood out, and again, special teams is big there too. Because if you can show you can play or get there on special teams, you might just lock yourself up a roster spot just like that. All right, but with that being said, we're gonna go to trivia. I'm not even gonna. You know what? No words. I'm just gonna take you guys the teams and try to get there. All right.
Let's do this.
Saints, Dolphins, Raiders, Cardinals, Saints, 49ers.
Oh, I was gonna say Kiko Alonso, but that's
Can we go over that again?
Wait, say that again.
Yeah. I'll go. I'll go. So, Saints, Dolphins, Raiders, Cardinals, Saints, 49ers.
okay. This is gonna be a crazy one. It's not, but I'm gonna say, was Ricky Williams on the Dolphins?
Yeah.
It's not Ricky Williams though, is it?
No, it's not Ricky Williams.
Okay.
Ricky Williams. They did. It was Saints Dolphins for Ricky Williams, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Huh. And you said Saints, Dolphins, who? Raiders?
Raiders.
Saints, Dolphins, Raiders, and then Cardinals, Saints, and
Yikes,
49ers.
That's a 3. And return. That's the.
Cardinals. That's throwing me.
Cardinals, Saints, 49ers.
I don't remember any Saints player playing for the Cardinals.
I
Honestly.
feel like I'd know it if they played for the Cardinals or the Raiders.
I never said they took a snap for him.
Oh,
For which team?
Quite a bit of them. Quite a bit of them. I'm gonna give you guys the years to kind of give you a little guess there. So 2016 to 2019, and then 2019.
Probably.
It is. Ken Crawley
I
bounced
knew
her out.
when you said that they didn't play for them. I
Has he
knew it
returned to the Saints?
because I tried to pick Ken Crawley, and I saw that he didn't play for those teams. It just clicked. I knew it.
Yep. I wanted it to be a little tougher this time because if I went Saints Dolphins, that would be immediate, and then I think everyone. So I wanted to be a little difficult. I thought.
I hate that I got Ken Crawley right.
Ken Crawley's the Traquan Smith of cornerbacks.
I thought he went to Ohio.
I had no idea
State.
where you went.
That's Traquan Smith disrespect. Look, we like Traquan Smith. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Hey, Ken Crawley held it down for a little bit. You guys remember Devontae Harris? That was
terrible.
Yeah. Did anyone have a second one that they want to go ahead and throw out there, or?
I think I don't have one, but didn't you say you were doing it this week?
No, I called it this week.
Oh, okay. I knew.
I could draw one up quick if we need one.
If you want to, I think we could do another one.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
A pretty easy one, not like a deep cut.
Not a deep cut. Okay.
No, we're just sitting in silence for the.
So the Saints, the Panthers, the Titans, and the Broncos.
Ooh, that's a good one because it should be easy. That feels
That's
easy.
a wide receiver. I can't think of it. That's a what? Kirk. Who is it? Kirk. What's his name?
Heathwood or Kirkwood?
Yeah,
Kirkwood?
Yeah.
He only played for the Panthers and the Saints.
Did he not go anywhere else? I figured he would have gone and joined Sean Payton in Denver. But
Saints, Panthers, Titans, Broncos.
Saints, Panthers, Titans, Broncos.
What years?
What years, Cat?
Hold on.
Not yet.
Hold
Not yet?
One
yeah,
second. Saints, Panthers.
Feels like a whiteout so bad, but I think I'm just thinking of Keith Kirkwood.
I'd Saints Panthers is a crazy. Just
Yeah, you can do years just so I can get a time frame.
Okay. Saints from 2021 to 2022. The Panthers and Titans both in 2023. And then the Broncos now.
now. So a former
2024
Saint that's.
now. I just looked it up to see if he was still.
Wait,
there.
is it Tommy Stevens?
Nope.
Hey, the Panthers is a good one. I'm pretty sure he's in the CFL right now.
Well,
I'm pretty sure he's.
Let me check to make sure he's still on the Broncos. Last I checked, he was.
Oh, it's not Little Jordan Humphrey.
He's not Little. I love Little Jordan Humphrey, but not him.
That's my Saints Broncos every time. It's just Little Jordan.
Yeah, he's okay. He's still active right now. Yeah.
I was gonna say Malcolm Roach, but he went straight to Broncos.
I don't think it's
Most underrated loss to the Saints roster in recent years. Malcolm Roach.
Do you want a position?
It's not Jordan Jackson, is it?
No.
Yeah, position would be wonderful.
Okay, I feel like you guys are going to get it when I give you the position. But he's a guard.
Is it Calvin Throckmorton?
Yep.
Do you know Calvin Throckmorton has this third best PFF pass blocking grade or run blocking grade, or one of them in preseason?
No, did not. I didn't know he was still playing, so I just saw him.
Oh, he's doing amazing.
Got it for me because I was in the middle of a communications class when I got the note he went to the Panthers, and I was furious because they claimed him off our practice squad.
I was just looking through my colleges sheet, colleges that had a lot of people. I just saw Calvin Throckmorton at Oregon, so I'm like, why not? That feels like it works.
Sure does.
It really sounded like Keith Kirkwood. I'll be honest.
I didn't know he was on the Broncos now. I knew he was on the Panthers and Titans. I didn't know.
I knew it was a big man when I heard Titans and Broncos in the same one.
All right. Congratulations, everybody who got it, which was Nick twice.
Never been missed,
all right, so we're gonna go to quarterbacks this time because this is everything for the Saints going into the season now. This is the storyline. This is what makes the Saints for this year. Basically the most important position in football is being made up preseason week 3 for the Saints. And obviously they can always pivot in the middle of the season, but you don't really want to do that. So it's Spencer Rattler versus Tyler Shuck. I'm gonna read over their stats so far again, just so we know how close they are. Shuck is 15 for 22 for 165 yards, No. He's 24 for 34 for 165 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I don't have Shuck stuff up here. Okay, I'm gonna redo that. I don't have Shuck's yards for some reason. I have everything but his yards. Why can't I find it? There we go. Should find it. That tweet has 300,000 views. There we go. Okay, so Shuck is 24 for 30 for 230 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Rattler is 25 of 35, 252 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Each player has started for the team. Each player has come in the second half for the Saints, or close enough to the second half. Each player has led the offense to 2 field goal drives, and each player has led the offense to 1 touchdown drive. These guys have practically had the same output in terms of play that you possibly could have. And now the Saints have to kind of make a decision just truly based off of – no, it's not going to only be based off your preseason week 3, but you would have to expect whoever performs the best coming up against the Broncos gets the job. Now, how funny would it be if they each throw about 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 100 yards each? Good luck, Kellen Moore. But with that being said, this is the quarterback competition that we have been waiting for. We knew it would go into preseason. We didn't know if it would take this long. A lot of us probably figured Spencer Rattler would have run away with it by now, but he hasn't. Kind of just walk me through what you guys are hoping to see from these guys and who you possibly have winning the job.
Yeah, Kellen Moore has insisted that he and the staff don't know who the starting quarterback is at this point. I still find that very hard to believe just based on the trends of training camp, the trends of starting in the preseason. Spencer Rattler has gotten so much more work with the ones throughout training camp. He's gotten the more starts than Shuck, obviously being named the starter for Saturday's game. He'll have 2 under his belt compared to Shuck's 1. It just looks like Rattler's been having the slight edge for quite some time now. Just from a personal standpoint, that's just my personal opinion. But I think what Rattler needs to do, because I don't think he's got it locked up yet. I still think Tyler Shuck can go out and win this battle on Saturday. So I do think Rattler needs to go out and find the end zone. You've seen his red zone woes. That's been an area of concern around Spencer Rattler for quite some time now. And he needs to avoid turnovers, protect the ball, threw a pick against the Jags, fumbled against the Chargers. You don't like seeing that. Those are things that you'd like to see him clean up. But we've seen that he can get to the red zone, and that's good to see. Just got to go finish the drives. I think a couple of successful red zone drives will cement his place as the starting quarterback of the Saints. When it comes to Tyler Shuck, he needs to stay calm. This is obviously going to be the biggest game of his life to this point. He needs to stay calm. You've seen that the pressure has gotten to him so far this preseason. It's gotten to him in practice. You could see it's gotten to him even in college during his time at the 3 of the schools that he attended. He has a problem with pressure. It's not an unfixable problem, but now is the time to put it all together. If you want to be a starter, like you said you would, and like you said you would come and rebuild, then you have to be able to handle the pressure. This is the big leagues. And look, I think if he shows that he can do that, if he shows that he can move the ball downfield, because look, he's had a couple of drives stall as well. And that is partly due to him taking those bad sacks, putting himself in a bad position, putting the offense in a hard spot. You don't want to see that. So I feel like we've seen him panic a ton, but a couple of good, like we saw with the Mason Tipton play. If we see a couple of those throws, if we see him protecting the ball, not avoiding those turnovers, like I said with Spencer Rattler, but mostly when it comes to Tyler Shuck, it's being calm in the pocket and looking poised, not taking those sacks, and just getting the ball away if you are in danger of taking a sack. So, yeah.
Yeah, first focusing on the topic of like who's currently leading or the practice trends, I actually, funny enough, think the complete opposite. I actually see Spencer Rattler being put into the starting job, for example, for this weekend's game, or more starting spots in practice as like, you're not ahead. You need to prove some more things. I think it's kind of like if Rattler wasn't I was going to be surprised if Rattler wasn't the starter in this game, because he was also given kind of not really a start in the first game. I know he started, but he didn't have Olave. Shuck did have that in the second game. He kind of deserves that opportunity, so it makes sense why he was starting. But I just kind of view it as like, hey, Rattler, you kind of need to prove a little bit more, because also I think Tyler Shuck outplayed Rattler when both players were with the starters in the respective games, and I think that's very important to going into game 3 to consider that and have Rattler with the starters, just like Kellen Moore is doing. So I think actually, again, Shuck is in the lead a little bit, and I still think they name him unless Spencer Rattler truly outplays him this game. Like if Rattler does well with the starting group and Shuck does well with the starting group or the backup group, I think that means a little bit more for Spencer Rattler, because you're going against a very good Broncos defense. And if you do well, that's impressive. That is something to praise. And I think that actually wins him the job. Now, if he does bad and Shuck does bad, I also think that's good for Rattler, because Shuck cannot do bad with the backups. That's obviously offensive line. That's different. But both these QBs have done pretty well with the backup groups. It's been their best performances in both weeks. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. And Kellen Moore did say that the rotation is going to be Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck, and Jake Haener. There's no way Jake Haener should touch the field in this game unless it can't go to overtime. He shouldn't touch the field. It shouldn't happen, because it should be Spencer Rattler, you get the first half. You get the first half, Tyler Shuck, you get the second half. Because also, it's unfair to Spencer Rattler if he gets pulled early in any way, shape, or form. Because Spencer Rattler needs to have those reps with the starting unit, but he also needs to have those reps with the backup unit, because, look, if he stinks it up with the starters, he needs that kind of like cushion with the backups to kind of get his stats a little higher for this to be an even battle with Shuck, who's going to have a full game with the backups and against the backups. So Jake Haener should not play this game. That's one point. And I do think that Spencer Rattler has better odds to secure the job in this game, even though he is losing in my mind.
This battle is so close. I'll be honest. I've been on kind of the Tyler Shuck side this whole offseason. I thought he should be the starter. I liked what I've seen from him. But now, I'm honestly indifferent. Whoever wins this battle deserves it. I'm fully willing for anyone, and I'm happy if Rattler wins it. But I don't care on this one who goes out. If Spencer Rattler goes out, plays 2 touchdowns, plays amazing, or if Tyler Shuck does it, I don't care. The one thing that I do not want to see at all is someone like not win the job. I want to see someone go up there and take it. I don't want to see both quarterbacks struggle against a great Broncos defense and have someone have to be handed the job. After this battle, that's not what they should do. It's been such a close battle, and you just want to see it end strong with someone getting the last grasp and winning it. I don't know who that'll be. I mean, we'll see. This game's going to be really interesting just for that storyline.
Yeah, and for me, one thing that I really want to see is, because we haven't seen it out of Tyler Shuck, I want to see him get into the red zone. When you look back at Tyler Shuck's scoring drives, there was the 2-minute drive where they ended within the red zone, and then you had a chip shot field goal before the second half. But you guys kind of know how I feel about a drive like that. It's a scripted drive. You kind of know your targets. You know where you're going with the ball there, and it's a scripted drive with the defense playing off. Since then, I don't believe we've seen Tyler Shuck in the end zone and the red zone yet. We saw the 54-yard touchdown pass, and we saw a 51-yard field goal attempt. So those are Tyler Shuck's 2 other scoring drives outside of, like I said, a 2-minute offense playing against a defense that's playing off. For me, I need to see a long drive from Tyler Shuck. The long drive, run the ball well, pass the ball well, get into the red zone, and then punch the ball in. I don't think we've really seen that from Tyler Shuck at all this preseason. And to me, that is what your normal offense is going to look like. You don't want a 3-and-out, boom, big touchdown, because I still think you're going to win games that way. It might be exciting to watch, but what you really need is an offense that can go 70 yards every other drive, or 70 yards and push the ball in, at least get a field goal range, or go ahead and score a touchdown from that range. And we haven't seen that from Tyler Shuck. We have seen a lot more of that from Spencer Rattler. We've seen him in the red zone. We saw him throw an interception in the red zone as well. But I think we've seen by now that wasn't totally on him either. So right now, I'd have Spencer Rattler leading this battle just because he is somebody who has been able to lead a long drive, bring the Saints into the red zone. And again, while they have had the same outcome in terms of their drives, we've seen him at least get there. So I'd like to see that from Tyler Shuck because at 6'5", he's got a big arm, and I'd love to see that big arm when he lets it rip. But you also have to be able to do all the intermediate stuff as well.
Yeah, and there was a chance that Shuck was going to be able to do that when Olave dropped the ball in the second quarter. I think it was second quarter, because that was going to be the long drive. And I know that's a lot of ifs, but that would have been the long drive in the red zone, and that would have been exactly what you were saying if the ball was caught. I was actually just remembered that Spencer Rattler did start against the Broncos last year and was against the Broncos defense. He actually had a pretty good game despite the game ending 33-10. He was 25 for 35 and 172 yards. So it was a decent game, but I will have to say it's the most Spencer Rattler kind of score line you could have, because it's like, I think Cedric Wilson was that. Hold on. I actually want to see. Did Spencer Rattler throw a touchdown this game? He did not throw a touchdown. Jake Haener threw a touchdown this game. So in weird way, it was the most kind of Spencer Rattler game in that example. It was good completion percentage, getting a fine amount of yards, but not scoring a touchdown. And I think he led one field goal. That's exactly what we've been seeing from Spencer Rattler. So if we could see some growth from that last year's starting game when he is playing the starters, that's another positive. Like I truly think Kellen Moore is giving Spencer Rattler, this is the opportunity for him to win it. He is giving him all the opportunity to win it, but it's also he's giving him the opportunity to lose it. It's kind of all up to him now. And I think that, again, my opinion is that Spencer Rattler's losing the battle a little bit, and that's why he's doing it. But I can also see the perspective of he's winning the battle. He wants his QB to secure it.
Yeah, and I think the best chance to run away with the starting job is to play with your starters. And you said something earlier about if Rattler gets pulled when the starters get pulled. I think if Rattler gets pulled when the starters get pulled, that's Spencer Rattler's job, because at that point, I don't see why you would pull him. And so if Rattler ever does get pulled when the starters get pulled, we kind of have our early indicator there that this has been Rattler's job. Look, this battle is close, and we've known that, and then we really won't know who's the winner. It'd be hard to predict anything. Honestly, we did bold predictions for our Canal Street Chronicles article, and I went ahead and said each quarterback has basically the exact same game, and good luck, Kellen Moore. Because it's been that type of battle, and that would just be the situation that the Saints would end on, where now you have to make the hard decision when it's this close. Who do you pick? And to me, I'm not going to pick right now. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I've gone back and forth this whole time battling myself. Shuck gives you probably a higher ceiling. He's got a lot of that Josh Allen type stuff in him, but Spencer Rattler has executed in my eyes, the best. He has run the offense the best. But who knows where Tyler Shuck is in 4 weeks if you let him play 4 games, something in that way. So you kind of have to look, and I completely agree with what Drew said. Someone has to steal or run away with the job on Saturday, because if you don't, then I think it's Tyler Shuck's job. That's just my term. He's your rookie. You go get it. If no one runs away with that job on Saturday, so specifically if Rattler doesn't run away with the job and just outperform Shuck, and they have a similar performance, then to me, I don't see any other way Shuck doesn't get the job.
And one thing that also was that last week when Rattler did kind of lead the tying drive, it really felt like the locker room kind of surrounded him, and it felt like they were kind of not having a favorite, but really rallied behind him. This opportunity is also, if the game is close, giving Shuck the opportunity to kind of have a winning drive if Haener does not go in. Kind of have that winning drive and kind of have that same opportunity, because look, I talked about recency bias last week or on our last episode, because I said, hey, I don't want recency bias with that great final drive to make this decision. But recency bias is something you can't control. And if Shuck does lead a winning drive, that's going to be in the back of the mind of any decision maker. And that's going to be a major factor in this conversation also.
Well, look, I think the importance of Spencer Rattler kind of being I wouldn't say light behind the dark when Derek Carr was in town last season has a lot to do with the fact that the team is so bought into him this season. I know there's a lot of new players in the building, but just the fact that all these veterans are still so high on him that they all have respect for, they're seeing their respect for Spencer Rattler. It all carries together, and at the end of the day, everybody's respecting Spencer Rattler. So I think that all has a lot to do with it. We all saw how much the city, the fans, everybody embraced Spencer Rattler last season when he was really the only hope left after Derek Carr, how that situation was all falling. The Saints went and drafted Tyler Shuck. It felt like that again at the beginning. But now I think just him being in New Orleans for a year, embracing the city all off season long, getting involved with the community, spending time with his teammates that he's been teammates with for over a year at that point. I think that all has a lot to do with it when it comes to Spencer Rattler's, I wouldn't say lead in the battle, but lead in, I don't even know what you would call it. I guess you'd say building relationships and having bonds with teammates, because obviously he's been here longer and he's had their respect for much longer, and they've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, and we're going to get our answer on Saturday because I think
I
no
can't wait.
matter the outcome, I believe the outcome is probably going to, like I said, I believe the outcome is what tells us the winner. I think whoever has the better performance is the quarterback. Now, that might not be true, but I don't know why you lead this competition then if Spencer Rattler looks just fine with the ones and then Tyler Shuck gets named the quarterback. Something like that where it's like, well, didn't you just name Shuck the quarterback beforehand? So that's why it leads me to believe that this game is whoever performs the best is going to get that job. And we'll find out on Saturday which is tomorrow. I don't know if you guys can hear that thunder. There's a lot of thunder going on outside. But it's whoever when this goes up leads tomorrow, who wins the game tomorrow for the Saints. And I don't know if we'll have our official announcement, but we would probably need it as soon as possible because now you're 1 week away from game week, and the Saints need to figure it out soon because now whoever's named quarterback is going to know 2 weeks in advance, and then from there have to go. And I trust Kellen Moore and the coaching staff to get our quarterbacks ready. These guys are both young guys, but I think we need to know soon enough, and this game is definitely going to be the one. Well, it obviously it's going to be the one that tells us, but I hope we find out quickly and it gets addressed, it gets named, and then we know who our quarterback is going in. But with that being said, I'll make sure nobody wants to say anything else before we go ahead and end. All right. With that being said, that is going to be it for this episode. Make sure you guys catch our recap. We're not 100% sure if it's going to be going up on Sunday or Monday as our usual time. We kind of just have to make an announcement on that because a lot of conflicting schedules. But with that being said, y'all have a good one.